now tuning in to the Aaron Alexander Experience Podcast. Wah, 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 wah.
Hold it.
Okay, so to avoid doing too much editing, we're just going to start it right here instead of waiting until I'm actually sitting down and all that. I don't like to edit. You know?
Right.
I don't like to work. I don't really like to do a lot, but
I've noticed that. Have you?
that's absolutely insane for you to start the podcast off that way. I've been going to these coffee shops. I've been making sales. I've been getting things done. The one thing that I need to do, I need to really prioritize before I leave London, is I did buy the spy pen.
Okay, yeah.
I want to use the spy pen. I'll absolutely, for me, this first week here in London has been getting settled in, getting over here, hanging out with you a little bit, getting things done. We've got the boot camp this weekend, and then it's like, okay, then it's time to go rage.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've been treating it.
You know what would be really cool? Some live boot camp footage featuring the spy pen. That could be cool. It's like a POV of what it might be like to go on a Evolution Daily boot camp.
That's interesting. I strap it to one of the students. It's just me fucking like shaking you. POV, like, what don't you understand? Assume attraction, I said.
The boot camp sales just plummet. It's like, I don't want to do this shit.
Wow, is that what the boot camp is like the entire time? Fuck. No, so you on your wall, you had you have three things written down, and one of them you said lack of boredom. And so when I think lack of boredom, because the first one was low T. So then that was what I was thinking, was like, oh, okay, this is like things that are holding people back. And then it said lack of boredom. To me, I view most people being bored as actually a bad thing. I think most men are actually bored. So explain to me the lack of boredom.
Okay. So the three things up there, it's weird. It just, I don't know, it gets me going. I like to motivate myself in the negative, right? Just to look at something and be like, okay, I don't want to end up there. I don't know how productive or healthy or whatever the fuck that is, but it juices me.
It's very good.
It's like, something that stuck with me is, the footballer, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Yeah. When he used to get jeered, he used to play his best fucking games. Like, he was like, all right, fuck this cunt. Or can I... Bro.
Same with Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Can I say explicit shit like that?
Absolutely. The only thing we can't talk about is the 2020 flu and the elections around that time. Oh, those are the only two things.
That's exactly what I want to talk about.
Yeah. So. Okay. So they stole that. No.
Yeah. So he would like play the best game of his life, and Michael Jordan as well. He would like make shit up about the other opponents dissing him. He would legit fabricate it in his brain, and it would come out in the press afterwards that guy never even spoke it to him in the game, which is nuts. Anyway, so up there I have 1, low T, 2, lack of boredom, 3, momentum. All in the negative, and I consider it the afflictions of the common man. Okay? Now, you wanting to know more about like 2, lack of boredom. I just feel like, and this list of itself came from being bored, allowing all the insane stimulating thoughts we receive on a day-to-day basis to just kind of clear themselves out. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh shit, that list is completely original. I'm sure I've like, through like osmosis received like ideas and shit other way, but that's just like, oh, this is it. Bang, bang, bang. Now, lack of boredom, I feel like on a day-to-day basis, people are just stimulated to the nth degree, right? They've got the fucking TikTok going off. Someone's messaging them over here. Work's got this. They got to do that. Then they come home. They pop on the Netflix, etc., etc. There's no fucking time to just sit, think, center yourself, and be like, okay, what the fuck am I doing? Where the fuck am I going? Without like centering, I guess, the lighthouse in the ocean, the boat is just fucking floating around, getting smacked around by the waves. Do you know what I mean? Now, I know you just said don't, but we do have an example of a large scale event where people were bored en masse, right? There was the lockdown. People locked to themselves, no work, unless they're like completely tethered to the internet. Perhaps they're on their own or with another or whatever the fuck, but stimuli is definitely reduced. What happened in that situation? I know because I was like, I've studied like mental health and whatnot, bro. Calls to like the helplines and the suicide hotlines through the fucking roof. Obviously, there's other factors there, but I believe a large contributing factor is people just bored. They don't have experience at it, and they can't handle being still alone with their thoughts because they're like, oh fuck, I'm a fuck up. Where's my life going, etc., etc. They can't handle it. So I think there needs to be more of that. And when you're in that zone, you get more clarity on where you are and where you're going.
Right. Yeah, and I would say so. It's sort of it's almost a little bit less of a lack of boredom and more so a need to lower the bar for when you are bored.
Sure.
It's that people need to de-stimulate in order to get to a place where they actually could just sit out here with no phone, maybe have some music on, even just be sipping coffee and be content. But they're not. You know how many human beings, if you said, oh, just go ahead and hang out in the backyard and enjoy yourself for 30 minutes, they would just be glued to this 100%. The whole time.
Bro, even the music, I reckon, that's still like subconsciously occupying the mind. I reckon just stillness. In fact, I have an example. I was doing the cloak room for like a 5-star hotel the other day, right? And the way it works is there's this big rush at the start, big rush at the end, people coming, people going, but they're doing whatever they're doing in the interim, right? In the interim, I'm bored out of my fucking brain. They take your phone away, etc. And people like actively avoid that role because they like, oh, it's boring as shit. I'm gonna be fucking stuck there in between. I'm stuck there in between loving my life, staring into the abyss. In fact, I was getting paid to think, and as I was sitting there, nothing to do, there's just like the back of like a cloak ticket. Bro, I'm jotting shit down, and I had like 7 genuine action points that I was like, holy shit. Genuine breakthroughs. I'm like, okay, this is insanely helpful for when I go back home, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Things that I'd like, I guess they were simmering around, but they just hadn't come to my attention yet. And I was like, fuck, why haven't I thought of that? And bang, bang, bang. Just from simple stillness, no phone, staring into the abyss, and these things just fell into line for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why, because everybody is going to fall victim to this in the modern world, right? These giant corporations are spending countless resources on figuring out ways to get you more addicted to their platforms, right? This isn't just an accident.
Yeah.
So because of that, you do have to make a very conscious effort. I'm a huge fan of going on phoneless walks. I tell people all the time, go on phoneless walks. Same thing that you said, like with the ideas. I will all the time just go out without my notebook, drive to Zilker Park, go walking down by the river and everything. And then, after about 30 minutes of no phone, no stimulus except for just nature and looking around, dude, things just start to come to you and you do start having ideas. And so for all you guys listening, like you have to be conscious of this. A major battle today is just being conscious of everything around you that is trying to destroy you. And everything is.
Yeah, everything is trying to siphon a little piece of your attention.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's got something to sell, and it's just a competition over who can grab the most attention at any given time. Mm-hmm. And I think I saw an insane statistic the other day, like, the attention span over the last 10 years or so, whatever, has just, like, halved year on year to the point now we have a worse per second attention span, humans do, than a goldfish.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, goldfish are pretty zen, right? I mean, they just live in a meditative state, so it makes sense. And that's what, when I first got to London, too, I think that's what made it kind of hard those first few days for me as well, was that it was just so freezing cold. Because I was over there by that Trafalgar Square, and I think about other times where I've taken like this wasn't spontaneous, but it was definitely not very well planned out. But I enjoy that though. I'm good with that, right? The first time I ever went to New York City, I remember just like, I had ideas. Mostly I just wanted a game, but I was just like, got the Airbnb. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Here I landed with no Airbnb, no hotel, nothing. And in most situations, when the weather is allowing that, I would have just been out at that square all day. And then like, oh, I end up talking to some chick and she's telling me about like this thing that's just like a mile down. I would have went walking there. But there was a couple days where it was raining and cold and I was just trapped in the Z Hotel.
Yeah,
I was like, this
up.
fucking sucks. I'm like going to coffee shops, like just dodging the rain. It was kind of lame, but yeah, man, people just need to be conscious. And I think that, I think what happens is when you spend a lot of time being unconscious, before you know it, a year has passed, 2 years has passed, 3 years has passed, and then you go, oh man, you look at everything that if you would have just, let's say you had the goal to like learn a new language, right? Somebody out there, they've got German relatives or something. I want to learn German. Bro, if just like 2 years ago, if you just started even, let's just say an hour a week, 3 20-minute sessions a week, bro, you'd be like fluent by now.
100%.
You'd be fluent. You wanted all these different dreams and ideas of things that you have going on, that little business you wanted to start, whatever. Bro, just 3 blocks of 20 minutes of focused time over the course of a couple of years. And I think that people, Joe Rogan is, I think, a great example of somebody that's got that down. That he's just, if you really look at the life of Joe Rogan, for example, there's no way he's going insanely hard at a lot of different things every single week. It's all just these smaller increments, right? The archery, the jujitsu, the working out in general, the podcasting, the comedy, the UFC comedy. Like where does it even end, right? The writing.
You think about how the fuck does he get all this shit done? Like Joe Rogan's like just outworking me on so many different domains. He hasn't got more time than you do. Like we all have the same amount of hours in a day. It's just the purposeful scheduling of activities. Like if you are not controlling where your time is going or controlling your life on a day-to-day basis, it's going to take control of you. Like it's just naturally how it's going to go. Your attention's like if you've got no direction, no idea where you're heading, life's going to be like, cool. You haven't got a job? Let me give you a job. Come over here. Fucking go down this little rabbit hole or just sit at home. You're going to have to wake up and work tomorrow the next day anyway. Before you know it, time is just slipping away, and you're not even paying attention to it. But if you look at it for a second, you're like, man, there's all these untapped hours just because it's like, I get it that life's tough and it can feel like, man, I'm stressed out. I got the job. Fucking Aaron's telling me to work out or some shit. Now I got to like, on top of that, go back and sit and be bored and manage my life as well. Like, you know what I mean? And now I got to do this other thing where I got to be cognizant of what's going on. There's a lot going on, but it's almost like if you just not even trick, because it's facts, but if you just stop for a second and just take a bird's eye overarching view of what's going on, that 1 hour is going to pay hours upon hours of dividends. Yeah.
The people that I've been, the content that I've been consuming the most lately, because, when I was 22 and a half, I basically became an action taker. That's when I became somebody that does a lot of things. And I wasn't. I was incredibly lazy before that and just a fat alcoholic and all of that. And just disgusting, really. And so I became an action taker, and I take great pride in my ability to take action, whether it's in the field or, I've had product ideas even with the business, and I'm just fucking like, all right, we're just going to like bang this out. Let's launch this. Let's go. And that's such a great skill to have. But the content I've been consuming the most now is Sam Ovens, for one, Cal Newport's book, what is that fucking book called?
I've never heard of these people.
So Sam Ovens, he's a business coach.
Okay.
But he owns consulting.com, and he's wildly successful, and he's all about building these systems, right? He's just all about systems thinking.
Okay.
Instead of just sporadically maybe putting out content or whatever, like thinking in depth about the lifespan of that content. And, instead of, let's say, putting out 50 pieces of organic content and just kind of hoping that they work, instead of that, what's the time it could take to do maybe 20 pieces of that content? Could you make one piece of content that you're running as an ad, right? So teaching you how to pull like the largest levers of your business in that way. That's what sort of systems thinking is about. And so Cal Newport, I mean, the biggest thing is he talks about him and then people who follow him. They talk about time blocking and focused time blocking. Like truly, I have digital timers at my house that are not connected to the phone where there might be something I really don't want to do. Like I really don't want to do it. I know that this form is broken on one of my sites. I don't want to fuck with it. All right, I'm going to set this timer for 20 minutes, put on this fucking music that I listen to when I'm working. And then something about that 20 minutes is just like, okay, I'm going to get it done then. And it no longer feels like a never-ending task.
Yep.
It feels like, okay, I'm going to bang this out in the 20 minutes. And then you glance over at it and you look at it. It's like, okay, I've got 10 minutes left. Let's go. Dude, you got 5 minutes left. You completed it. Boom, it's done. Focus, time blocking, and building systems is absolutely fucking everything. And so when we're talking about the fucking focus of a goldfish, how most of us have that, this systems thinking that you'll get from Cal Newport, from this guy on YouTube, Ali Abdaal, from Sam Ovens, from Ty Lopez, this is the way that you actually end up breaking through and actually making something happen for yourself. There's business coaches, there's dating coaches, there's fitness coaches, there's fucking all sorts of businesses out there where, bro, you've like never even heard of them, but they have one really well-performing ad. And so they made that really well-performing ad with the perfect freebie, with all the psychology of the perfect sales, into the sales call, into the free call with the appointment setter, now the sales call with you, boom, money. Or into a free course. So now there's not even calls involved. Or I'm sorry, a paid course. So you build out these systems in your life, things that will just end up paying dividends for you. And that's anybody that has a business, like that's how you actually end up growing.
As you were saying that, I just got the visual image in my head of like the shotgun approach, spray and pray. That's how people are like operating. It's like a bit frenetic and it's like, fuck, I've got to be over here. All right, now I'm over here. Now I'm over here. And the way I saw it in my head is like this frenetic shotgun spraying. Can we just narrow the range of that and turn it into a sniper?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All that energy, concentrated and bang. And how much further does a fucking sniper go?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, more precise, further, absolutely. But that is the problem, is ultimately that the dopamine addiction that we have, because we've heightened the baseline so much. Andrew Huberman talks about this. He talks about dopamine stacking being some of the worst shit that's like ever come into the new world. So
what does that look like?
Bro, so you could have Netflix on while you're dude, everyone, you guys are watching this. People do this, bro. Scrolling TikTok while Netflix is on, while
eating a fucking juicy steak.
While you're jumping around on the phone. Yeah, and then let's take that into it as well. Yeah, and you're eating something bad for you. A juicy steak would be good. In that scenario, typically it's going to be chips, something like that. So the dopamine baseline has gotten so high that even the tasks that even when you were a kid would have been easier for you to perform on within a business or creating something, you just go looking for that next dopamine. And then we're so good, bro, humans are such masters of receiving dopamine, but convincing ourselves that it's productive. I used to just, like, I'm talking about these guys that I follow or whatever. I don't sit there and binge their content. I've got Sam Ovens on while I'm cooking, while I'm doing shit.
Yeah.
I used to just binge Gary Vee videos. And I was convincing myself that I was learning. But I wasn't. There's no way. I was just getting hype.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like that's to bring it back to, what do you think boredom in all encompassing that, what you said, what does it do to that baseline? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it lowers it in a healthy way.
It's like almost like a reset.
And boredom and yeah, so boredom, I would say, is like maybe just not even the right word for it. It is just like anti-stimulus meditation. Like you guys, I know guys are not just going on phoneless walks. And that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but these guys, not to fucking speak from a pedestal, but they don't, I think it's a digestible word. They don't understand. It's just like, all right, if I aspire to be bored? What does that look like for someone? You're removing all stimuli, and you want to get to the point where it's like, fuck, there's nothing to do.
And then sit through that.
Let alone telling someone, oh, now you got to go and do the meditation thing. And they're like, okay, how do I meditate? Blah, blah, blah. Can we get them to a place of stillness first?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it's purposely worded lack of boredom. It's the lack thereof. Like, it doesn't even exist.
Never being bored.
And also, I hate it because you could word it in the positive direction as well. I could have said focus. I could have said discipline, consistency, something along those lines. But those words are fucking, like, they have meaning, but they've been made redundant into how they're, like, so buzzwordy nowadays, right?
Absolutely.
They've lost all meaning. It's been watered down. That's why I thought, it says it on my wall because it's for myself and it appeals to me. It's a stark, original reminder of how to, like, center yourself. I could say focus, but I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. It's not going to stop me in my tracks in my day-to-day life.
Right.
But
Lack of boredom is my problem. Be fucking bored more.
Yeah.
Be bored. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I would say for you guys listening to this as well is, as far as just like real simple beginner solutions, we've talked about this in the past, but it's just, for me, it is absolutely starting the day with no stimulus for basically as long as you can. Basically, as long as you can. I try on my best days, I'm going for around an hour, hour and a half with no phone in the morning. And even, you know, for you guys that work from home or whatever, it's like, even ask yourself, or on your laptop, ask yourself, what could I actually just, because a laptop is infinitely less stimulating. Even if you're on the same sites, a laptop is infinitely less stimulating than the phone. And I think part of that is just like the ease of the user interface and the way that the notifications pop in on you at that, you know, while you're on it. So it's like, how long can you basically go without your phone in the morning? And I'll talk to guys about this where they're like, dude, I tried it for like 30 minutes. I was freaking out. And I get it. Like, especially some of you younger guys, bro, you guys are fucking victims of this machine.
bro,
It's crazy.
People should be genuinely questioning up until 12 noon of every single day of your life whether you are alive or not. You want people to be sending concerning messages to you every single day by noon just to check that you're alive, that you're well, there's welfare there. I get multiple messages because from my mum, and she's like, I've just been offline for like 24 hours. She's like, what the fuck? She starts to panic and shit. I'm like, I could be dead, but in fact, I'm doing well. Do you know what I mean? Like, people should be questioning your welfare.
And and we can really take this into game too. Very easily. So I was talking to a guy yesterday who signed up for the Chicago boot camp that I'm doing this summer, which all of you motherfuckers, I'm coming to New York, Chicago, LA, Barcelona if you live in Europe and you're seeing this like really soon. That's going to be the beginning of May.
I could even speak, I'll let you do your thing, but I could even speak about what I experienced during the boot camp as well. I think that might be helpful because I don't know that have you had a boot camp student on before?
It's been a while, but yeah, we could definitely get to
Sure.
that. We could definitely get to that. But what I want to say is, like, I talked to this guy last night, and I said, dude, like, a huge part of why people don't game, like, aren't going out doing the approaches and all that, it's not approach anxiety and that shit. And people don't like to hear this, man. Like, sometimes my message is it's not popular a lot of times because guys don't want to hear it. But a lot of the time, it's just that they're lazy as fuck. Truly, they're lazy as fuck, and they're addicted to cheap dopamine. So the dopamine that you'll experience from banging out a bunch of fucking approaches, some of them go bad, some of them go really well. That chick was really fucking hot. It's a girl that you would have never dreamed that you would even be talking to, but you had the balls to do it. Then let alone you go on a date with her, then let alone you fuck her, then let alone you fuck her again. That dopamine, you worked hard for it, and it hits so much harder. It feels so much fucking better. It like hits at a core level where you are fundamentally and foundationally changed as a man. But instead, you can just get on TikTok and look at fucking Lena Bellafleur. That's what you can fucking do. You can look at Lena. You can look at Matilda Tanto and her fucking twin sister making out and shit all over the internet. So guys are choosing to do that instead of actually even just going out and doing game. That's 100% fact.
And you know what? That's also why, I mean, I have a love-hate on-off relationship, mainly off with the dating apps, right? Like, look, they're fantastic, they're convenient. I get it for perhaps, I guess, the working professional that's got their shit together and they're go, and they're like, all right, let me just jump over here to keep tabs on and fill up the glass in my dating life, right? Let's add this thing in. But if that's not you and you're not doing anything, period, I feel like that's that shortcut whereby you don't get to experience the dopamine of each stage. And you know what? You could even fucking take it to like a primal way, like the hunter-gatherer. He's going out there, he's finding what he wants, he's eating, he's making it happen for himself, he's killing, he's skinning the animal. It's like bringing that back into game.
Yeah.
It's like hunting and preying on women. No.
Life as a man is about hunting and killing.
Yeah, and
It should be hunting and killing.
And you know what? That's energizing and motivating to no end. That at any given moment, now look, I always take the student mindset that I'm always a learner, but still I've got the capability that any given moment I can go out there and make that happen for myself, right? Rather than playing the fucking dating app lottery and swiping. Fuck, hope she likes me back. I'm out there in real time finding out someone I'm physically attracted to in real time is going to like me back. If not, bang. And how long does that take? Fucking 10 seconds?
Right.
And then you're moving on. That's why I think it's just such a fucking cheat code, man. If you can just wrap your fucking head around it, put a little bit of initial work into it, get over that. It's not even that significant. You can even tiptoe your way in, but that initial little learning curve, then you've basically harbored this skill for life.
Yeah. Yeah, you have it forever, and it's something that, yeah, guys just don't want to. So you'll trick yourself in the same way that I said I would watch the Gary Vee videos and really convince myself that I was learning and that I was really, just finding out everything I needed to know about like getting my business going and thriving and whatever. But really, it was just success porn. It's success porn, right? When you're watching videos like that a lot.
It's a good way to put it.
And so with online dating, I'll talk to a guy. He's like, "Yeah, I'm like really focused online right now." That's something I'll hear often, right? These guys will say, like, "I'm really focused on just doing like online right now." It's like, "Oh, nice. Like, how many women have you slept with this year from that?" Oh, well, I mean, I would say, oh, so you can't even, like if it was going well for you, ideally you'd be like, oh yeah, just like a couple weeks ago, I like fucking whatever. But for most guys out there today, because of the way that overall, let's just take like a 10 out of a 10 dude and a 10 out of a 10 chick, right? 10 out of 10 dudes will regularly and have no problem at all fucking like way lower women. They'll do it all the time. That's extremely fucking common. Very common. And so, but whereas women are not the same way, right? With the online dating apps and shit. They are just looking for the fucking creme de la creme guy that they can fucking find. And so one of the other things that bothers me in this whole industry is when people kind of talk about a friend that they have that is like totally natural. Where he's a Chad, he's like fucking, he's jacked, he's crazy good with women, he never even had to learn all this game shit. All he does is literally like, he doesn't have to do any of this. He just goes stand at the bar, like, and it's always coming from this place of like, why do I have to do all of this? And it's like, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. If you don't want to get bitches, it's the same way as like, bro, my friend was like born into so much money. He doesn't have to work for any of this. Why do I have to work for it? You don't.
Exactly.
Fucking go work at the 7-Eleven, find a fucking, $300 a month apartment with 10 other people in a hostel or whatever, and like you don't have to do any of it.
And I
give up.
Yeah, 100%. And I find myself, I mean, we're not all immune to it. I sometimes think, oh man, do I really have to go do the thing? I don't really feel like it. Why do I have to do this? And I have, you know what? I've got a lot of natural friends, and they kill it. They fucking kill it. They're tall, they're jacked, they just have their charisma, and I'm like, bro, how did he just this spontaneous interaction? There's nothing that could be in the can, I guess, quote unquote. But how did he whip out that line out of nowhere? Why can't I be like that? Why can't I just spontaneously come up with gold like that? This cunt doesn't even know what game is. Does he know what I've been through? You know what I mean? Does he know how hard I'm working at this shit? And it's like, woe is me. This is so fucking unfair. But the second you realize that we're all just fucking, as you just said, like different people. Some people are born into money. Some people, this cunt is born fucking 6 foot, washboard abs, all this kind of shit. It's like, who genuinely gives a fuck? That's not you. If it was you, go and fucking be that. But it's very clearly not. So this is your task in front of you. Either do the thing, do the work, or just don't. Just bow out. I really couldn't give a fuck. I don't care. Do you? But this is the reality. This is the nature of the situation. Either do the work and get it done, or shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I always call it, being a man who either lives in have or being a man that lives in want. And it's like, are you going to be a dude that lives in a life where you have what you want, or are you going to be the dude that's just always wanting things? And I've talked on the podcast in recent episodes about how, similar to you, how you started this episode by talking about, you said, I don't know how healthy it is by being motivated by negatives or whatever, but I find it to be incredibly healthy. I think that it's actually the ultimate example of using positive reframing, actually. I think is taking something that has pissed you off or does piss you off and using that as fuel rather than cowering down to it. And so I've talked recently about how I actually do have, I kind of caught myself actually in weak moments really reminiscing over a lot of, the way that I'll put it is, bags that I fumbled. I just put it that way, like bags that I fumbled in life. I loved when
you said that. I love that.
And I have an actual physical paper list at my place of all the, I should probably make it digital now that I'm traveling around, but of all the bags that I have fumbled. And I look at that list, and some of them are fucking catastrophic, like big money bags, dude, like big situations. And I look at that fucking list, and I just go like, I am that list that I'm looking at, and most of it being my own fault of my former self. That list is my enemy. That list is who I am at war with every fucking day. Because at the end of the day, when I am 55, 60, 65, 70, when I'm that age, if I have not made it so that way all of those bags that I fumbled are just so meaningless because of my current success, then the list won. The fumbled bags beat me. And so it's like, everybody has to fucking do that. If you guys can even, you don't even have to have it be actual events where you fumbled the bag. You can have it be things that you find unfair. Dude, it's so unfair that my fucking parents beat me growing up, and my friend Tim, he had the best parents ever that just propped him up the whole time. It's so unfair that this dude had his college paid for, and I had to pay my way, and I couldn't make it, and I dropped out, and like whatever it is, it's like, whatever these circumstances are, that you're short, that you're fucking, a lot of guys, complain about being Indian or Asian. They say they just naturally have a way harder time with women. So if all of those things really bother you, write those down. It's almost like a bitter list. What am I bitter about? And then dedicate your entire life to that list being your enemy and just saying like, I'm going to fucking succeed no matter what. Like, that's all it is. And what else is the path for a man? What else is the path?
100%. I think that's incredibly powerful, and I heard you mention it on another episode, that bags fumbling thing, when I had that list on my wall, and I'm like, okay, I've definitely got to do this thing as well, about the bags that I fumbled. And I know, looking at myself, I'll be like, fuck. Even if I'm like feeling like a piece of shit, I'd be looking at that list and being like, bro, I can't let that list win. Get up and fucking do something right now.
Yep.
Even Tate has this thing. He's like, you can look at other people around you, like the natural, whatever the fuck, as your enemy. But ultimately, the landscape of the man is ultimately competitive. It's insanely competitive. Now, instead of externalizing that enemy and competitiveness, he has this thing where you draft a character of yourself. But that character is always one step ahead, and he's like the anti-list, basically. And he's doing the things that you're doing on a consistent basis. You're at the gym, he's just done another set. I've done that so many times. I'm on the floor and I'm like, dude, me next to me has just gotten up and fucking done that extra set of squats. And I'm like, fuck that cunt. I'm going to match him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, I think that's probably a formally diagnosable psychological condition of like psychosis or some shit. But you can genuinely mind fuck yourself into doing that. And you again is the non-pussy version of yourself that sees that girl about. And if you just see like the ghost image of yourself going up and talking to her, it's like, fuck, I'm not letting that cunt get away with it. I can outdo it. And that visualization of yourself doing it is so intrinsically motivating for myself that I feel it's just a really effective tool based off that list as well to just keep moving.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can either so life is, no matter what, going to be very painful. Life is going to be painful any way that you look at it. There is no way to avoid pain in this life. So because pain is unavoidable, the way that you prepare for the unavoidable pains of life is by choosing pain on a very regular basis. There is chosen pain, and then there is unchosen pain. And the people that handle the unchosen pain the best are the ones that have regularly chosen pain. So
Yes.
you guys right now that are sitting out there, you have no women, you are addicted to porn really because you have no women. I always say, I mean, there are all these different, I know there's coaches and programs and different things about quitting porn and whatever, but I like porn, but I think I've not gotten addicted to it that bad because I'm kind of addicted to fucking.
You're like, oh, I can quit any second.
I've really actually, for sure not since I've been in London, I don't care about porn that much, but it's also because I kind of know I've got like pussy around the corner like at all times.
And I think that's a different distinguishment.
Right. So so the point is it's like for a lot of these guys, the going out and getting rejected and doing the approaches and going out and feeling like a fucking loser because you went out alone on a Friday night, all those things that you look around and wow, look at just this hot group of friends, just these fucking all these jack dudes and their fucking Barbie girlfriends, and I'm sitting here like trying to get my 5 sets in because Aaron says 5 sets is the same as 0. It's like, and I'm just standing here like a fucking loser. You've chosen that pain. And so you continue to choose that pain, and then you choose the pain of the approaches and the rejections, and you just have to keep going until there's a glimmer. There's a fucking glimmer. This girl that I immediately did think would reject me, oh, we're having a whole conversation right now. Oh, fuck, like, I might actually get this girl's number. I didn't do it. Fuck, what could I have done differently? I should have gone for the number. Next night, I'm going to get the number. And people are just not willing to go through that initial pain to get to that place where they actually are effective at something. I remember I learned one song on guitar, and I learned the song, and I remember just like, how fucking foreign. Like, a guitar is crazy. Have you ever played guitar?
I've never.
It's fucking madness. Bro, you do your best to learn one song. Get an acoustic guitar from somewhere, get it off fucking Craigslist, learn a song, and then watch somebody. Just get on TikTok and type in, like, guitar solo. And a guy that's just, like, just fucking, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And so it's all that awkward, like, G chord. Like, how do I get my pinky to, it's actual pain for one, because you actually will get blisters and cuts on your fingers. And so it's actual physical pain. It's all that pain. And nobody is willing to go through all of that to get to the place of like, oh, wow, now I can actually bust out a song in front of people. And that's just a metaphor for life. It's the same. When I started going out gaming, luckily one time a long time ago, I had my very first wing ever, Zorn. I had him on the podcast, and he was really there for the incel me into the gaming me. He was who I said to, where I said, dude, listen, I know we're going to like fucking Charlie Bear this weekend. I fucking found this shit online, and it's like teaches you how to like go meet bitches and stuff. And he wasn't crushing it by any means, but he got laid.
Yeah.
And at that time, I'm on like a 2.5 year dry spell or something. And so I tell him about it, and so then we start going out doing that, and he got to see. They used to say that I had I don't want to say the word, but like, you know, it's fucking YouTube, but like it rhymes with grape. He told me I had him and the other roommates would joke and be like, "Oh, he has the grape eyes again. He has the grape eyes again."
Fuck.
Like where I would basically be out, wasted, see a chick,
Right.
be thinking about what did Tyler tell me to do?
Oh, yeah.
Thinking about game, and then like, okay, like here we go, and he'd be like, "He's got the grape eyes." Like he saw all the really bad game,
Yep.
and then the transition into like, "Oh fuck, Aaron's like having bitches over now." Oh, what? You have a girlfriend that girl that you hooked up with from night game is your girlfriend now? What the fuck? And it's like, I went through that pain because it was very fucking painful. I was, 22 and a half now. And I think you grow up looking at, I did at least, all these movies and cultural references to like the college experience. And you kind of think as a fat junior in high school, oh, I'll get it together by then. And I'll have that experience. Partying with people, the beer bong with everybody, hooking up, all the girls in the dorms. Bruh. Then I get to college. Oof. I'm hearing everybody hooking up.
Yeah.
I'm actually on an L-shaped floor where the one L is girls, this one's guys. I'm walking by dorms of 2 dudes and 3 chicks hanging out. And I'm just like, oh, you're still fat with horrible acne. You busted your tooth out playing fucking rugby, so now you've got a mouthpiece on, a fucking retainer holding in your teeth.
Horrific acne.
Horrific. Bro, I had terrible acne. It was terrible. So yeah, you guys just really do have to be willing to go through severe pain. And on the other side of that pain is glory. And I can tell you guys from personal experience, and maybe I am a sex addict. I don't know or care. I don't know or give a fuck. I don't care at all. Maybe there's guys out there that are too addicted to their business. And I think that they're pretty okay with that, right? Addicted to the gym. Darn.
That's who you want to be learning from, though. I want to be learning from the sex addict.
Oh, darn. David Goggins, who was addicted to running. Think he's fine. Think he's doing just fine. So, yeah, you kind of want to be fucking addicted. So I can tell you from personal experience, I guarantee you, when I think about some of the natural guys I grew up with, who they were getting laid in high school and shit, and I worked with this like ultimate Chad at Donato's when I was like 20, this dude Tyler, really good guy, but just fucking, he just had bitches. And he got married, and he got married pretty young, and you just kind of don't care that much. If you're a guy who has struggled to ever really be with attractive chicks, I promise you the sweetness of that juice, I'm 33, it at least hasn't gone away from me.
Yeah.
It at least has not fucking gone away from me. I mean, I am just like, I'm fucking high off of like a sick pull where I can't go to bed and shit. Like, let's fucking go.
Bro, I've had fucking pulls when I'm like, even interactions, right? I've been doing a bit of work recently, and it's just like, it's me actually, I think we mentioned it before, like...
James.
Yo.
Just had a quick scare. I got up just to double check the battery and just to look at everything real quick, and the sun was blocking out the little red recording thing, so we're good. Let's keep it going. So you've been doing work...
Yeah, if that was awful, I think I was going to kill myself, but anyway.
Same. Murder-suicide.
Double homicide at... I just spit out my address. No, I'm just saying... I've had interactions, or even where I'm just like not feeling myself or whatnot, and then you go out, and you've just been like rejected like 4 times. I'm talking explicitly day game here, but 4 times in a row. That chick didn't want a bar of it. This one has a boyfriend. This one kind of looked at you like you fucking had shit for brains, like you were the pond scum underneath her foot while she was walking, and then lo and behold, you just have an amazing interaction. Sweet, angelic, wholesome, and you get the number. And look, even saying this, perhaps she flakes, perhaps it doesn't work out, but in of itself, in that moment, man, you're fucking beaming. You're high on life. It really does something to you. It's like, I fucking did that. And then you're just walking around with a fucking spring in your step afterwards. There's no...
You had one recently on the non-alcoholic beers that fucked you up. Didn't you have a situation and you felt like shit, and then you did just have like a pretty casual conversation?
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
was like,
the non-alcoholic beers, which I combined with alcohol, but it's beside the point. It really fucked me mentally. I was like I had the IQ of a fucking traffic cone, and I was out in in a pub on St. Paddy's Day, and I was like, man, I really don't want to be here right now. Like, and I was talking to, there was 3 of us. One other mate was like high on life. He just usually is. And I'm like, man, where does this fuckwit find his energy? But anyway, and then the other guy, he's just like a regular British dude, and we're just conversing, and he's like, yeah, so-and-so is on form tonight, huh? And I was like, yeah, I guess he is. And then he's like, yeah, and then we're just chatting, shooting the shit, and I'm just like, fuck. And then he actually excuses himself. He's like, yeah, I'm going home. And I was like, cool. And I'm just like, I'm going to stick this out and just see what happens. And then there was a chick to my left, not, I don't like to speak too crassly, but let's just say not at my usual standard, but not a beast. Like, but anyway, I was just like, I'll fire up the fucking conversation. Let's just talk. And then just threw out some bullshit little line. I can't even remember what it was. And then she kind of returned at like similar, if not above energy. And then the more we were talking, the more I was just like coming out of it, waking up myself. And then that just like, and then I was feeling really good afterwards, just conversing. And she actually turned out to be a really cool chick. Actually, invited me to hang out in another country. But then I was just like talking to more people and sets after that. It just really does something to you. You can't describe the energy of a come up after having a really successful interaction with like an attractive woman.
Yeah.
I just had something else to say because I've really enjoyed the last topic you brought up about choosing pain. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing that I said I wanted to bring up on my phone because it's the first part is theoretical. The next part is actually insanely practical. And it kind of ties in this thing scientifically that makes so much sense. But until you've like, it's given like an empirical basis to what we've been talking about. So it's choosing pain. I know you don't like David Goggins and Andrew Huberman, right? You've got like some personal vendetta.
It's like a little bit of a joke, but kind of not at the same time. Yeah. Go
Right.
ahead.
So
Yeah.
Goggins was on the Huberman podcast.
Oh, I can't imagine a worse combination.
Dude, it is a goated combo.
So I look down, and my foot is actually missing from my leg. And I'm only on mile 127 of 406. So I said, do I get the leg sewed back on, or do I continue this? And I looked down at my wrist where I have tattooed, stay hard. And so I completed the next 400 miles without a foot. The doctor said I only had 1 ounce of blood left in my body by the time I was done. And Huberman goes, yes, a recent study out of Yale University actually showed that 1 ounce is actually all that you need for the cytokines of the white plasma to continue to fuel the brain. Yeah, stay hard.
Bro, it's like completely...
A nerd and a tard. Stay tard is more like it.
It's like completely like taken away from what I'm about to say.
I'm sorry.
You've done this speech and people...
Stay tard.
No. So he had him on the podcast and Huberman goes, let me bring up this neuroscience tidbit because I thought it was very Goggin-esque, right? And this recent data has come out. It's new data. It's a lot of data. There's like a lot of it and it's done in humans, like not some fucking mouse study, right? And they've found this specific brain structure known as the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. There's some fucking fancy name. It's a noun, not a name. They could have called it, I don't know, the fucking Plato area. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know. So they discuss how it's a crucial area for engaging in challenges and activities we don't want to do and how it can actually increase in size when we continually invest in tasks that are hard for us. Okay? And the growth isn't just about adding more work. It's about specifically adding work that we are not inclined to do. It's this area, and you know what's fascinating? It's the growth and size of this area is solely subjective. It's solely subjective. Whether one particular task compared to another person, if one person does want to do it and one person doesn't, it's the same task, but one person's region in this brain is going to grow and one's is going to remain the same. Now, here's the thing. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex has been found to be smaller in obese people, larger in athletes, especially large in people that perceive themselves as challenged and able to overcome challenges.
Wow.
It retains its size on people that make it to the oldest age possible. It retains its size. Now, yeah, and the important bit is, so the scientists consider it not just the seat of willpower, but actually the center of the will to live.
Wow.
This area, this physical region in the brain. So let's take an example. The ice plunge or the cold shower. You're fucking petrified of it, right? You don't want to do it. I fucking hate it. And there's all these parallel scientific benefits, increases blood circulation, blah, blah, blah. There's all this shit, which is probably true. But an added benefit associated with this region now is you get in there and you hate doing it. This region in your brain that thrives on overcoming these challenges grows as soon as you come out of the shower. And what's fascinating is it's on a day-to-day basis. Andrew Tate says everything is rented. Mm-hmm. You said choosing pain on a specific day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. If you don't get in the shower the next day and you still hate it and you confront that and you don't confront that activity, guess what happens to this region? Shrinks. Right? It shrinks. But also, if you fucking come out of the shower, you're like, man, that's sick. I'm looking forward to doing this the next day. Like, fuck yeah, like, let's go. I really want to get in the shower. Guess what happens? Nothing. No growth.
Wow.
And it grows in obese people that diet and shit like that. Now, one last tidbit. They've found that you can they've done studies where you stimulate this area. They found it, like, the little program, like, let's fucking stimulate this specific region. And they found they stimulate the region. They asked the study participant, what do you feel? How are you feeling? It's like, cool, they're neutral. They stimulate it and like, whoa. And they're like, what's going on for you? It's like, I feel like a storm is coming. This is their words. I feel like a storm is coming. Okay. And how do you, like, are you scared? Are you worried? No, I feel like a storm is coming and I feel like I want to go through it.
Wow.
And so on a day-to-day basis, knowing that it's like everything is rented, choosing pain on a day-to-day thing, and it's not just the seat of willpower, it's actually, they're thinking of it as the seat of the will to live, is an insanely curious finding that directly associates this neuropsychological area into exactly what we're talking about in, like, it can seem vague and intangible at times, but this wires it back to a specific region in the brain.
Yeah. It's powerful. Yeah. And it is all the things that guys know that they should be doing are going to activate that.
Yeah. So, okay, this is theoretical. How do you think you can, like, utilize that on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So I think that for most guys, it's going to be, well, really for everybody, it's just like, so on the most basic level, right? Let's say like a kid's watching this right now and he's not ready to be David Goggins-esque just yet, but he fucking knows he's been avoiding that parking ticket. He knows he should be getting more shifts at work. He knows he needs to switch jobs. He knows he needs to talk to girls, like whatever it is. And it's like, yeah, just starting to do those fucking things. And then that does increase your will to live.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? When you are doing those difficult tasks and accomplishing them, it's on a very basic and simpler level, you just feel a sense of accomplishment afterwards. But from a scientific perspective, it sounds like there's actually been a brain-altering change that has occurred.
And fundamentally and importantly, that people say, oh, you're blessed with a strong mind, blessed with a strong will. This person just has it. And Goggins speaks on that as well. Absolutely fucking not. It's this conscious decision on a day-to-day basis to go out of your way, seek that pain, and go through it. It's not just something that happens. As you say, it's not going to... You haven't done it for yourself up until this stage. Like, why should something big and major happen overnight? It's this incremental, purposeful endeavor to attack these things on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Now, just me personally, I've found it just upon learning that, just naturally how I've found myself incorporating it. And I guess this is helpful for someone that's listening and is like, okay, cool, here's this fucking random shit that he's spitting out, psychological stuff. But me, just where I've naturally went from learning this information, I feel like the human body and mind is a very astute indicator on when you should and shouldn't do things, and categorizing that more when you should and shouldn't do things that are actually going to be good for you. Okay? So I catch myself thinking, now I go to the gym as on a regular basis. And still from time to time, I'm like, it's cold outside, it's fucking rain. I'm like, I don't want to fucking go. And then I catch myself and I was like, brilliant. You don't want to go, motherfucker? You have to go. You have to go. You don't want to do it? Great. It's going to be good for you. And not only is it like, there's going to be like the benefits that come from it on the other side, but I'm like, this is something that I have to stop and actively stare down the barrel and get on the other side of. And so many times, I'm just like, what else? It's like, man, I've come home from work, the fucking like washing's in the machine, my room's shit. I really don't want to have to do this. Stop. Good. You have to do it. You have to do it because it's good for you. Now, you can fucking extrapolate that and be like, oh, I'm on a fucking bender 7 days deep and fucking Harry's racking up my 5th line of ketamine. I don't want to do it. Good. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's exercise some discretion with it. But on the most part, people know, there's this tension here. I don't want to do it. Well, fucking... It's a nice intuitive signal coming from the body that, okay, this should be done.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's something I was thinking about is while you were saying that is okay, at the very basis, at the very base level, why are so many guys struggling to do the things that they need to do? Well, it's because at the end of the day, they actually don't need to do them. So you take a guy right now who he's just like down and out, and he's struggling to just get anything really going. Dead end job, no chicks, no nothing, whatever. That kid right now, he feels like he's got no willpower, he has no discipline. You throw that kid out on the fucking streets, and he's gonna all of a sudden have the most discipline, the most work ethic. He's going to, whatever that looks like, pick up the extra shifts, go begging for jobs, get into an apartment, like get into a shelter. Like he's gonna do this shit so long as he's not mentally ill, which is the case for most homeless people, right?
Most people listening to this podcast.
That really is the case. I fear. But so then it's like, okay, so when survival is the goal, I think everybody taps into new levels of willpower, discipline, work ethic, energy, especially fucking energy. So then that kind of takes me over to one of my things that I talk about all the time, which is I am just so blown away by how many dudes fucking still live with their parents at later years of life.
Yep.
And so then you go, okay, so we're going forward and we're going like, okay, what if we took you struggle to do anything, get anything done, but now we throw you on the streets. Imagine what that would awaken in you. Try to adopt that energy that would awaken in you now. Now you're living with your parents who from birth have provided nutrition, who have provided shelter, who provided all of these things. So even if you're paying rent and paying for your food and whatever, you're paying a little bit of rent to your parents, whatever, a little bit of food, whatever the fuck it is, like you're still just in the nest. You are still now not even responsible for your own survival. So if being forced to survive would spark your brain more than anything, now you're literally with the people that are just actually providing survival for you. And so it's like, even just being out on your own and needing to make rent and needing to provide your own food and having to create your own structure and all of these things, I think even that can just awaken the brain of so many fucking guys that are still living at home. And I was I think I already brought this up a couple episodes ago, but when I was talking to Dale the Whale one day about this, he's like, you know, he just has fucked his life up so much, so many times, and had to move back home with mom and dad. And they welcome him home with open arms, back in his same childhood bedroom.
Yep.
I've seen fucking Dale's house and bedroom in the last maybe 5 years ago or so. So we would have been like 28. It's a child's bedroom still. There's baseball cards on the walls.
He's got like the cot in the corner.
A Cleveland Indians autographed pennant that's been there since he was 8. Weird shit. And it's like, how can a man fucking thrive living in the home in which you were birthed in? It's just, it's fucking crazy. And yeah, I mean, you guys, you know, I put this content out there, and it's for guys that want it. It's for guys that want to make, not everyone you don't gotta be Goggins. You don't gotta be Tate. You don't gotta be a millionaire. You don't gotta do that. But at the very least, be your own man that's making his own money, that has at least a somewhat athletic body, that could run away from a fucking attack, that could protect your girl if you're both being attacked, that can do fucking something, be half of a goddamn man at least. It's crazy.
So, I think that's so important, and that definitely, that whole situation you describe is exactly why I'm here right now. It's just, I had literally no reason under the fucking sun to come over here to a foreign country. Do you know what I mean? But a little part of me was like, well, I guess going back to it, you have to do it. You have to go and make these things for yourself. And I
just want to say real quick, just hold on to that exact thought, but a lot of ignorant people watching this probably assumed that you're just from here because of the accent. We're in London, but he's from Australia.
Yeah. So, and a lot of the benefits you described is 100%. Maybe I haven't fucking, I don't know, made a stack of cash over here, or I've had some pretty crazy experiences, but in of itself, the very act of moving and seeking discomfort has been incredibly beneficial for me. And London, I don't know how many listeners have actually been here, but it's great to visit, but it's a very tough city to live. It's expensive. As you said when you came here, the weather can sometimes get to you. The wages, depending on what you do, are not always the greatest. But experiencing those conditions in of itself made me love this city. In another person, I guess, they would be beaten down by same circumstances, but it's probably very telling actually for someone that's very consciously moved here under not knowing what's going to happen, that is going to have the wherewithal and resources to trudge through. As I said before, seeing yourself as challenged is actually going to enlarge that region and actually be better off and learn from those circumstances.
Yeah, you've got to have your Revenant moment. You've never seen the movie Revenant.
I haven't. Oh, hang on, is that when he's crawling through the ice?
With the bear attacking him, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. He won the award for that one.
Yes.
His first one. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to have that moment where you can view the grizzly bear as just fucking life, right? Where life is just fucking trying to destroy you. You are injured, you are covered in blood, you're covered in fucking mud, and you just are clawing and just clinging on to fucking survival to be able to, again, just fucking survive. And you have to have those moments because, one, you learn a lot about yourself, you develop discipline, you tap into your resourcefulness, and then you can look back on that when you actually have had some successes and you can be like, man, remember that when I was fucking climbing out of the goddamn mud? And so many dudes are just never going to ever experience that. And you, because of all the safety nets, 20 different safety nets.
And you go back and you reference those times. And sometimes they just pale in comparison to what you're currently going through. You're in the suck on a day-to-day life, and whatever situations come up is really weighing down on you. And you think back to the larger obstacles you've tackled and then overcome, and what you're experiencing in the present moment just pales in comparison, right? And you find strength from that. You draw from that. Well, fuck, that's nothing compared to this.
No.
And you can even draw from that into approaching women. If you actually go out and just do genuinely hard things for yourself, then okay, this girl in front of you, approaching her, or the very single task of talking to her is going to pale in comparison, right? It's like, man, we talked about that thing where I fucking like ran with the bulls in Spain. Bro, thinking back on that, like I didn't have to do that, but I went out and did this crazy shit. Thinking back on that and then being like, ah, man, I'm nervous. I don't want to talk to this girl. Bro, you ran with the fucking bulls, cunt. I think you can go and say something to her.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is hard for people to hear, but I sometimes like ask people, I say, you know, who are you who are you as a man? Like really look at your fucking identity. And this applies to anybody that's made it this far in the podcast now, right? I'm not talking to the masses. The masses are fucked. So
Dude.
Someone who's made it this far into the podcast, it's like, you're going to really like get on a call with me or somebody in the mastermind, or like you're going to really talk to me and say, I was incapable. I was, as a man, as a fucking human being in this current plane of existence, I was incapable of going and asking 3 women today. Let's say one woman today, if she works out at the gym that I go to. Like, I'm not telling you got to go up and tell her she's hot. You don't got to go up and ask her on a date. You got to go up and do an indirect approach. And everything in you, like who you are, prevented that from happening. And that's very harsh, but it's extremely cowardice. It's extreme cowardice. And guys don't like to hear that because they well, you don't understand the thing that I've gone through, whatever. It's like, no. It's extreme cowardice in that moment. And so you have to say to yourself, do I want to be the man? So I grew up watching Troy and Gladiator and Saving Private Ryan and Platoon and with fucking Rocky, whatever you watched growing up, where the hero was put on the pedestal and you thought like, yeah, like the hero. But you can't ask a fucking girl if she works out at the gym near you and then maybe say, oh, no problem. How long have you lived here in London? Like, you can't do that. And you've got to face that reality that you're currently, right now, the man who failed at that today. It's got to make you really fucking angry. And you've got to decide, I'm the man that at least can go do 3 indirect approaches today. That's why game, there's a lot of difficult things that you could choose to go do right now, whether it's the cold shower or the gym or whatever. But, I mean, game is one that will fire up all the fucking synapses of the brain and create growth so fucking quickly, and it's so available to everybody. I don't care where you live, in the middle of fucking nowhere. My old, a good buddy of mine, when I was moving back from Miami to start Evolution Daily, he let me stay with him. He can vouch. We lived in the middle of nowhere. I mean, fucking nowhere. What?
I'm gonna fucking piss myself.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'll keep it going. But we live in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and I had bitches over. I had chicks over. At that time, a couple were from Tinder, but I had girls that I had met over from Night Game, where we gamed 45 minutes away. I had pulled girls to their place. From that place, I was 45 minutes away. I had girls over at that apartment. Like, I fucking made it happen. And so anybody you can go do something. You can go do some version of some approach, and that's available to you no matter the size of the town. No matter the size of the town, it's available to you guys. So while James is away using the bathroom, I'll use this opportunity to remind you guys to come to my fucking boot camps this summer. Come to the goddamn boot camps. Chicago, Austin, Miami, we're doing New York, Los Angeles, just all over. So you can head to coachaaronalexander.com and you can fill out an application, and it'll either be myself or somebody I got, working on the lines for me. But we'll just talk to you about, if coaching even sounds like a good idea for you. And I feel like people say that, like, oh, we're going to get on a call and see if coaching sounds good. I talk to some guys and I'm like, oh yeah, dude, like just like lose some weight first, probably, I would say.
Yeah.
Like I really do tell people, I'm like, I would say let's do something in like a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
And you know what? Something I wanted to get back to. Something I want to make sure I don't like fucking pass this over. Because so I started my business when I was 25. I guess I started the channel But then I started taking it extremely seriously. When I went and worked with Justin Wayne for 3 months, he hit me up on Facebook. He was just like, "Hey man, like I love all your shit." I'm like, "Holy fuck, Justin Wayne's hit me up." Do you even know who he is?
I've heard you talk about him, but I don't know.
Back in the day, he was a big deal.
Yeah.
He was a really big deal in like the pickup space. And he hits me up. He's like, "I love your shit, love your energy, whatever." I'm like, "Oh fuck, this is crazy." And he's like, "You want to come down to Miami?" And I'm like, I think I probably said, I should find the old messages. I probably said, I would, but like I'm really broke. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like I don't like fucking Miami. Like what? Whatever. He's like, "Oh, I'll like take care of it and shit." I'm like, "Oh fuck." So I go down to Miami.
That's lit.
We game together. We do day game. We hang out for like 5 days, I think. And he's like, "You want to come work with me?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah." So I go do that for 3 months. And then I come back up and I start Evolution Daily. And from the moment that I started Evolution Daily and moving forward, you know, I have experienced at different times some very, very, very severe financial straits. Very financial straits. And I would not feel confident saying this if it weren't true, because I know I think some of my brother's friends listen to the podcast. Like I've got maybe my brother. I hope my brother's been tuning in lately because this has been good shit. He needs it. I have never asked my parents for fucking money. I have never borrowed money. I have not gotten help from them. Maybe I've missed a phone bill or two here or there that I should have, you know, maybe sent over $70 or something in there, but whatever. I've not had any financial assistance since I was 25, and there was times where I could have really fucking used it, where I am genuinely like going to Kroger to get a fucking can of beans and whatever the cheap, like in a carton of eggs for like a roughly $1.50 total to just fucking survive. And I am so grateful that I could have, and there was times where I've had the texts written up. Hey, I really hate to have to ask. And they would do it. My parents have told me. My mom fucking thought I needed money recently because I say to her, hey, so I'm having, let me know. You're going to get an email, an envelope from Chase, from Venmo, from whatever. I'm having all these credit cards sent to the house. She thinks that means I'm hemorrhaging money and I'm checking out all these credit cards. But really, it was just while I was still drinking, which I do not anymore. I had lost my entire wallet, so I lost all my credit card stuff. She's like, yeah, and just so you know, because it's now the 4th time, I'm like, and you're gonna get one from Apple as well. And she's like, just so you know, like, we can help you out. I'm like, get the fuck out of here! I've never borrowed money from you guys.
You're like in debt up to the eyeballs.
Yeah, like that's what she's thinking, and so I'm like just using cards to live. And so look, guys, like. And also, everybody is not exceptional. This is why I'm actually, I don't want to get into this, but I'm like low-key a little bit against capitalism lately. I think I'm turning into a lefty.
Oh my God.
But because I've realized like most people are not exceptional. And so this content that I put out is for people that, like, dude, for real.
No, it's
I used to be so pro-capitalism and shit because I was like, dude, I work hard. I like motherfuckers that work hard. I love these stories of people that work hard, whatever. And then it actually hit me one time in a 7-Eleven gas station where I saw this like fat guy, and he was fat and he was wearing like a big tie-dye shirt, and he had Crocs on and big baggy basketball shorts, and he was just like really friendly. He just had like the greatest energy, but you could tell he ain't doing nothing financially. You know, he's fat and all this stuff. And I just remember actually initially judging him. Like, just, I couldn't help it. I didn't mean to sit there and, like, look at him. Look at it. It's just your mind judges right away at people. Like, you look at a chick, and within a millisecond, hot, fat, black, Asian, whatever. And for him, fat, gross, poor.
You're getting censored on all these words.
Just disgusting, right? And Jewish, right? Genocidal. And so he, you know, but I remember, like, it hit me, and I was just like, dude, you know what? Like, he's probably just like a good guy. And he shouldn't, and then like I see a lot of these videos on TikTok and stuff too, where it's people that are just like, they're just struggling. So they're like, why do I work? I have a full-time job. My apartment isn't that much. It's okay. but it's not that my car's not that much. Like everything. Why am I like in debt right now? Like I literally cannot even fucking live off of this. And when you do look at like the rate of inflation versus wages, they're not equal in any way. They're really not. It's like inflation has been this and wages have been like, like we're not like quite keeping up there. So like people should also be able to just enjoy life to some capacity and not need to be grinding and hustling and watching Gary Vee and Goggins. Like, so that's a whole other thing. But at the end of the day, this content is for people that want to be exceptional. And so you have to view yourself as somebody that at least, I like this idea of viewing yourself as challenged. That is actually very interesting. I like that a lot. And you have to view yourself as somebody that has the capability at least of potentially being exceptional in some way.
Yeah, 100%. And
that's the will to live.
It is.
Wait, and, okay, so you have to view yourself as being exceptional, and that will give you the fucking will to thrive and to keep going. And what is required along the way, doing the difficult tasks, which now apparently scientifically increases the will to live and to become exceptional. So it's this fucking upward spiral that essentially all comes back to basically biblical fundamentals of like, believe in yourself and work really hard. Believe in yourself and God. God is always walking with you. You know, have faith that like everything will work out so long as you essentially believe in God and, you know, you are God. And so believing in yourself and then working really hard and doing what's right. Like everything kind of does just come back to the Bible in a lot of ways.
Oh my God.
It does.
Just giving like a full sermon there.
Yeah, it does. Fuck.
I think at the lowest level as well, I do like and appreciate about you, and I find myself this way as well, very results oriented. Like the difficulty goes hand in hand with being results oriented because you can fucking piss around, but you may not be getting anywhere. And I guess for the person listening to this, that's like, it's all a bit like as mental masturbation or whatnot. I like just a little bit on me and a previous interaction I've had with you that's really quite stuck with me, and being results oriented and the perceived nature of being challenged. You won't even remember this, but I messaged you ages ago. I think it was like, and you were like, I'm doing a fucking Q&A on Snapchat, right? Does that ring any bell?
I messaged you on Snapchat?
No. It was a message you broadcasted and was like, hit me up on Snapchat with anything you want to ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I said to you, man, I was looking at fucking like, do you know How To Beast?
Yes.
Yeah, and he had this fucking 30-day confidence challenge, right? And I'm like, yeah, man, so I'm doing this thing, this confidence challenge, and I'm going out there. He's got me fucking yelling in public, doing push-ups in the streets, all this kind of fucking nutty bullshit. And he's like, and then on the 30th day, you can tell a girl that you find her cute. Right.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like telling you, like, yeah, man, I'm doing this thing. And you're like, look, bro, this is all it is, okay? Why are you fucking pissing around? Dead set, you're like, listen to me right now. 5 approaches a day. That's all it is. 5 approaches a day. It doesn't make sense to beat around the bush. Actually do the thing that you want to get good at. It's like me fucking, I don't know, wanting to be more accurate with, like I play football with a football shot, like kick it into the goal. I'm like, okay, let me first find the ideal boots. Let me lace them up correctly. Let me strike the ball right in the center. Let me do all this shit. No, you're going to fucking go out there. You're going to kick the ball, right? And have that real world experience. And only then, and that's with this content again, then and only then can you go back and reference obstacles you've come across and deal with them from the theory videos. Okay, let me do this practical thing. Let me find the hitch or the obstacle. Oh, I was listening to this podcast with Aaron and Hunter, who actually mentioned when I'm in set, and they say something. I actually asked them, but maybe I should have went with the cold read this time. But here you are with all this shit in your head. The best thing to do is to go out into the field with nothing in your head, right? Do the thing that you're supposed to be doing, practical, results-oriented. It's going to be challenging. And then looping back to the video and finding out what the problem is. Or reaching out to you or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Hey, Aaron, I'm doing this thing. And how much better is that for you? Okay, now I have this motherfucker that's actually taking action. It feels better for you. Oh, he's actually asking me for my advice. You tell him what to do. How good are you going to feel when he comes back and says, "Oh, I actually did this. What's next?" And you're like, "Okay, a motherfucker that gets it.
Yeah.
He's actually listening to me."
Yep. Yeah, it's actually like the best fucking feeling. It makes me feel like a worthy coach in a sense. I mean, I've had situations where, I'll be straight up. This has been rare, but I'll have guys on a mentorship program with me and we've got a call scheduled and they go, "Hey man, I don't really feel like we should do the call tomorrow. Like I haven't done anything this week." And I said, "Okay, well, are you like free right now? I'm fucking calling you." Call them for 20 minutes. We get to talking about, again, literally go to the mall tomorrow, ask where the fucking Starbucks is at the mall, whatever. And they're just coming back to me like, I can't. And it's like, I just can't fathom that language. Okay, now, can I bench 400 pounds? No, there is a physical scientific limitation to that. But this idea that you could not, you're always choosing to not, to not go do that shit. So, yeah, when people take the actual advice, and also here's the myth. So in that same way that after you ran with the Bulls, you probably, it sounds like maybe after that you have even had thoughts of like, fuck, I can't go talk to that girl right now. Like, fuck.
100%.
Well, in the same way, the push-ups at the end of the escalator at the mall weren't going to help you go talk to fucking women.
Yeah.
I cannot stand when I hear all that shit. And the
crazy.
reason why it's so appealing, though, is because deep down in the subconscious, a guy gets to go, "Oh, there's these other things that I can do to trick myself into feeling like I'm making progress without actually doing the very difficult thing."
It's watching the Gary V.
Day 30 came for all those motherfuckers and they didn't go talk to a bitch. Guaranteed. None of them did it.
Yeah.
Was people in the group chat like, "Day 30 today, Mr. Beast. I'm going to go talk to the girl today." And then like, "Guys, field report, I didn't do it. I did all the push-ups for nothing." It's like,
They get brutally rejected.
Yeah,
Some traumatic event.
yeah, they fucking seize up and die from the Mr. Beast challenge. It's like, yeah, bro, like just go. And guys, I'm not immune to it. It was very, very hard for me. I even years into the game had some very like trembly, shaky fucking like day game approaches where I am like very afraid. I'm not just so disconnected that I can't understand the plight of the average man. That is why I'm so big on indirect openers for many reasons, but this is another one. You now do have to have that moment where you face yourself in the mirror and say, "I'm the motherfucker that couldn't go ask the girl if she works out at the gym." That's who I am.
I have something for you. And I guess this might be, there's a range of listeners listening to this podcast, and I guess this is coming more out of selfish curiosity, but you've done an insane amount of volume in approaches and whatnot at this stage, whereby the fact it's so familiar that I doubt you're going to, I mean, sure, from time to time you might experience some approach anxiety or whatnot, but by and large, you're going to be relatively unfazed by it, right?
By approach anxiety?
Yeah. So day game. For the person that's kind of there, and you hear a lot of people, "I don't have any approach anxiety." I heard something interesting and I was contemplating it myself. Do you find sometimes that you have to in an attempt to reintroduce a little bit of like nervousness / uncertainty to make it a bit more authentic in that interaction? So you're not just coming to her, stepping to her, balls to the wall confidence, and that's like, "Oh wow, it's a bit confrontational for her." You're kind of coming in with a little bit, even if it's put on, to calibrate yourself a little bit.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, 100%. And that's something that I teach too, with especially with the indirect openers, is like I make it always sound extremely legitimate. And you
it does sound.
You have to like literally be kind of acting in a sense, but it's to get your door into the fucking party. So it's not like, "Hey, do you work out at the Planet Fitness on Indianola?" It's, you know, just like jutting that line out. Even the way I just said it, it probably sounds authentic. But
no,
like,
I thought, what the fuck?
yeah. Like you don't just like jut it out, right? It's like you really are like, excuse me. It's like in the facial expressions. It's like this genuine, like like this face says I'm genuinely not sure. Like, excuse me. Like, hey, excuse me. Sorry to bother you. I might be like way off here. Do you work out at the Planet Fitness that's over in Indianola? You live at the gallery building that's here in Domain. No, I don't. I swear to God, I only moved in like 3 months ago, from Ohio, and there's this girl that I swear I've like talked to her, and I was 100% certain it was you. So I'm dragging this all out.
Bro, I was drawn in. I thought you were busting into a story of what happened. I'm like, fuck, this cunt's like got me.
I drag it all out. I intentionally am throwing in like and I could have I have the verbal fluidity to never say an or an ah or a pause.
Yep.
I'm doing it to drag it out, to keep her eyes there. You know, the eyes pick up things in milliseconds, so now you're talking about 10-second blocks. So I'm drawing her all into this whole thing, commanding the attention and making it very believable, and then just transitioning away from it, either breaking that bullshit or usually not anymore. I'm not as much of a fan of breaking the bullshit as I once was.
I tend to break the bullshit if it's so overtly absurd, the initial thing that you're saying. Like they're going along with it and you're like, no, like, come on, look. I can't believe you actually thought that was legit. And then you
right.
break it like that and it was like, oh, I actually thought da-da-da. And you know what? I think it's amazing because once you've had some time in the field, doing that kind of stuff, I don't know about you, I take immense self-amusement from acting like that. Do you know what I mean? I find it hilarious. I think of myself as this video game character in the Matrix,
Yes.
and I'm just out there pretending to be a civilian.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. Long before Tate came around, I have, even as early as like my Engage course, old videos, I have literally said, you are fucking Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah.
The Matrix is operating around you. This girl came in to get vegetables for her fucking stew that she's making later after her shift. And you know, this guy's just getting the Reese's cup and he's checking out and everything's happening. And you're in here like, I am going to alchemize these NPC women into women that are now sucking my cock.
Yeah.
That's the fucking Neo that you are in that situation.
Bro, do you know how funny it is when I'm going around the fucking grocery store with an empty basket pretending to look at the Kellogg's?
It's great.
And I'm like,
fucking great.
and I think to myself, like, bro, what the hell are you doing? It's like empty basket. I'm like looking behind the cardboard box through the aisle. I'm like, all right, I'm going there next.
And here's what I'm
So
always
fucked up.
yeah, bro. And this is what I'm always reminding motherfuckers of. Is here's the deal too. This is where the red pill shit is going to ultimately kill all of you guys, and why I can't stand all of this. Like, dude, I even just saw this like big red pill influencer on Twitter yesterday. I don't follow them. They got retweeted again because people just love this stuff. The quote. Here's the quote. This is the quote that had just like 1,000+ retweets and all the comments and just. This is the quote, okay?
Oh boy.
Every woman is a gold digger. It's just about how good are they at hiding it.
Oh my God.
And so 1,000+ men were like, fuck yeah, retweet. I want that. I resonate so hard with that message that I retweet it.
Then I need to share it with the world.
Fuck yeah. They are all gold diggers, and some of them are just good at hiding it. Like, that's what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
Like, it is insane to me. Now, look.
Now, what
is it kind of true a little bit? Yeah, I guess. Why would a woman with nice tits, nice ass, who is evolutionarily chosen to be in the top 0.01%, why does she want to date a broke little fuck living at his parents? She doesn't. Do women want a motherfucker that's got his shit together and all the qualities that come with having your shit together? Yeah. So what? But it's just, again, the guys that are just... Fuck yeah, like retweet, like what the fuck? So hang on, I gotta finish that.
Go.
So the point of that is that this whole fucking like battle that and by the way, women don't have it as much. It's a battle of like men that are just like so against fucking women. It's only the weird radical little like blue-haired little bitches, right? They're the ones that are like really hating men, but most women don't hate men. So So when you guys are out here developing this philosophy of like hating on fucking women and then she's a little slut, it's like you're not a giving man. You're not a man who is in his divine masculine, and the divine masculine is aiming to care for and nourish and love the divine feminine and receive it back. And so, because for me, I'll go to the grocery store and I'll fucking lie to this bitch, tell her I think she goes to the Gold's Gym over on fucking Ben White. And yeah, it's all inauthentic. It's all fucking whatever. But what am I doing for that what is that inauthenticity in that first initial moment?
I love this.
Where is that taking me to? I'm going to take her to we're going to go get sushi. I'm going to make her fucking laugh. I'm going to talk to her about why, some of the things that transpired in World War II that we view as evil weren't actually unprovoked. I'm going to fucking teach her about the world. I'm going to fuck her really good. I notice she's not coming after a long time. So I say, I'm going to use a vibrator. And she'll be like, yeah, for sure. Use the vibrator on her, make her fucking come like crazy. I show her Nathan For You afterwards. Fucking cuddle her ass.
You're doing the best thing by her.
What a demon I am.
Yeah.
I gave her the fucking night of her life. So it's like, you guys are such nerds.
It's the final punctuation.
I hate all of you, by the way. I fucking hate all of you.
Something that really stuck with me, I think it's like tearing the fucking house down here.
Live leak of this. Can they see this World War II bombed out shelter that we're fucking... Hey, let me turn this real quick.
This is where Evolution Daily has ended up in the pits
I'm living, by the way.
The pits of the earth.
This is my home right now. He had me sleeping in there. I had to crawl through the rubble. That's my door.
That's his suitcase.
That's my suitcase right there. He's like, all right, mate, you're good here? Yeah, I guess so.
Dude, you're making jokes. I actually live here.
Yeah, inside at least. Inside.
Sometimes. No, something that really stuck with me, just